So you handle it lightly, like everything. You handle everything lightly, not. Yeah, just gently. Just, no big deal. No, not a big deal.
Don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, don't take it too seriously. We build cities and so on and so forth, and then there is an earthquake and 50,000 buildings and 20,000 lives are lost. Don't take it too seriously. Don't take it too seriously.
I get confused, and I'm talking a lot because um, you're a live person here, and a lot of times I watch the videos and have questions, or I watch Rupert or somebody else, and in this case, even when you're speaking with her about you manage the body, and that's sort of the idea that I was talking about. Well, I want to drive a car, I have to manage my life. The landlord's going to do. I have to manage my life.
I didn't say you manage your body, as you manage, the body. I mean, your body as a way of speaking. You see, so this my thing is the me, my body. You see, as soon as there's like a my body, you have to really watch that, because it could be just as a way of speaking. My body, okay, so my body, my hands. So the my could be just a way of speaking, or the my could be an identification, you see. So you have to be careful with that.
That's not what I think I'm talking about either the idea when people talk about the doer, and so forth and so on. You're not the doer. So when somebody says, manage, do the best you can, manage the body, whatever, okay? And, but also I'm hearing that if there's no doer, in a sense, that there is a man, and you say, well, you're going to drive the car, you're going to fill it with, well, I don't always fill it when it goes empty, but something's going to happen where you're going to have to walk.
So
to the gas
I'm not. I see. I'm not the only one.
The body will take care of itself, no matter what. But anyway, the idea of management in this is, I think, is really not the idea of not taking it too seriously, but it's the thing that, so there is this form in the what do we call it, the cognitive level, is the idea that it does form things and structures, and it gets patterns, says do this, so it will do certain things, okay? So that management already comes, and then it learns. I think that it appears now that also, if I can say learning, it knows something because of consciousness, but it knows something because the pattern doesn't. If the pattern doesn't work or something else happens, but consciousness is always the primary place. But anyway, back to this it does get confusing sometimes when I hear somebody say, well, then you just manage this, or and all that kind of jazz. And I said, well, isn't that what I just said? How do I manage my life, in a sense? Mm-hmm. But it's not. I'm seeing that it's more that relax with it.
Yeah. So whenever I speak about there is no doer or no chooser, mm-hmm. I'm usually careful to specify that there is no personal doer or personal chooser. Okay. This does not mean that there isn't consciousness that is doing and choosing, if you want to use these terms. I usually don't refer to these terms, but we can use these terms. Why not? So consciousness is choosing this perception. Mm-hmm. This perception, this experience. Huh?
Sounds
great. Nice. Yes. 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 It sounds great. You say it sounds great. Sounds great. Consciousness choosing this perception. So you could say that, yes. I mean, consciousness takes on this form. Yes.
And actually, it's easy.
Easy. Yes.
It's not complicated.
Yes, not complicated.
Is the resistance of our belief. Mm-hmm. Want to take our. They want to be live.
Mhm.
I'm sorry with my English.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Sounds great.
Well, I mean, if you contemplate that you don't choose your thought, you don't choose your thought. If you don't choose your thought, then the action that follows the thought, because action is thought embodied, acted out, arising as form. Right? Thought taken on form is called an action. A thought in form, in manifestation, is called an action. It's a thought that we act. So the thought is, I want to go to New York City. Thought is, oh, it'd be great to go to California. Thought arises, and so action follows thought. You don't choose your thoughts, you don't choose your action. Right? But yet, something is choosing the thought. Not you, the person, the personal so-called person. Something is choosing the thought. Consciousness is choosing the thought. Meaning, without consciousness, what is the thought? Let's say the thought of a tree or an oak tree. In order for that thought to be perceived, consciousness is required. Because the oak tree, a thought of an oak tree without consciousness would not even exist. So consciousness is the reality of all thoughts. Without consciousness, what is a thought? Nada. Consciousness is the primary reality of all thoughts. If you think about your mother now, okay, you think about your mother. Without consciousness, what is that thought? That thought would not exist without consciousness. Consciousness is required for that thought. Consciousness is the primary reality of all thoughts. Therefore, the reality of all actions. A perception, same with a perception. What is a perception? What is this perception right now without consciousness? Yes? This perception is doo-doo without consciousness. It is nada, right, without consciousness. Consciousness is the core reality of this perception.
For me, it's a little crazy. Huge crazy. Okay. When I saw crazy, really crazy, a lot of thought that I can distinguish, or maybe I believe that this is the correct way. Isn't true. That isn't true because it's only a thought.
Yeah.
Okay. I say, please, I need help for observe that. My question is that help or because or is the belief that there is something that help me to observe my thoughts?
Yeah. I
know
think I
this.
understand. When you're observing the thought, you are observing the thought. Yeah? Thought. When you're observing a thought and you want something, huh? Then the thought is when you want nothing, thought arises like that. When you want something, the thought. You see? Yes. So it's not really the thought, it's before the thought. So you look at these thoughts And you say, oh, which one? This says go this way, and this thought is going, no, don't go this way, go this way. And then this thought says go this way. I'm confused. I am confused. My heart is, what am I going to do? At night, I cannot sleep. I turn, this thought, no, that, why? I want something. Let go. Let go.
The idea that I can't take anything.
Let go.
And trust.
Trust. You have to trust. You have to trust. You have to trust because you're trusting God. You're trusting reality. If you trust your mind is conditioned. Your mind says, be careful, danger. Be careful, danger. Be careful, danger. So you are walking always guarded, guarded.
And it's
Not happy. Huh?
How danger is your belief.
And yes, you bring peace and happiness and freedom. Bring it into the space. Open your bag, and release the happiness and the freedom and the peace into the space. Turn the light on into the space. The light of peace, not fear and I want and what's going to happen to me. See? So you have to examine this me. It's always unhappy. And the mind spinning. Like in the water, in the ocean. How do you say? Tourbillon. In the ocean, the water. Like
Whirlpool.
that. Huh? Whirlpool. So, at the core of all activities is peace. Yes? Not in the activity, not in the world, not in the thought, not in the situation. Beyond the situation. Beyond the situation. And beyond the situation is presence. Because presence is not in the situation. The situation is in presence. Yes? So beyond the situation is not going to Africa. Beyond the situation refers to presence. Because presence is beyond the situation. Presence meaning consciousness, awareness, beingness. The I am. The I, what truly I means, is beyond the situation. So beyond the situation is peace. Is peace. So you have to recognize the beyond the situation. Don't look just in the situation. Go beyond the situation, meaning go to awareness, go to consciousness, go to that does not move, that does not come and go.
And it's only a decision.
Yeah.
It's only say,
Yes.
I'm gonna do.
Yes.
No,
Yes. Absolutely. You decide to be present. To be the absolutely. Why tomorrow? You want happiness tomorrow? I want happiness now. You want peace tomorrow? No, I want peace now. Yo quiero la paz ahora. No es mañana. No, yo no le quiero mañana. You know, quiere el feliz.
What happened inside me when I say I want to be happy and I observe and I don't take the decision? Why is that?
Why?
What happened in myself when I say sometimes I can do that, I can take that decision, and sometimes I can't.
Because there isn't clarity. How can you make a decision? I am driving and I come to a fork in the road. How do I make a decision? I don't know which way is to New York. Maybe this is to New York, maybe this is to New York, or I don't know.
Maybe I don't want to be happy.
Everybody wants to be happy.
Can it be possible that the person doesn't want to be happy? Because that's
There is no person.
well, okay, then we're going to talk about. But if you can talk about, okay, if you can do this as a person or condition, because we're going to use that word, because conditioning there can be an energy habit of suffering, of doing that, and also suffering. What I'm hearing also, which is a great freedom, also, is suffering really. I think it was Rupert Spira was saying this is calling you. I mean, it's like calling you. You have to use some kind of metaphor, but it's calling. It's in other words, it all belongs in some sense because it's all in consciousness. But the idea that it's there is that it's all. Since it's all in consciousness, then it's all really about that. So being able to, consciousness sees that and is aware of itself. And so this becomes smaller. The suffering aspect becomes, or I would say the person, but it doesn't matter. The conditioning becomes smaller because it's seen as false rather than, oh, it's real, it's me.
But suffering, suffering is meaningless without happiness.
Yeah.
Suffering means non-happiness.
Yeah.
So the term suffering, concept suffering, has no meaning without happiness. So instead of suffering, you use non-happiness, unhappiness. So suffering is unhappiness, meaning forgetting your happiness. Because if you are seeking happiness, that means you can find it. If you find happiness, that means you can lose it. If you can find $1 million, you can also lose $1 million. If you can find your lover, you can also lose your lover. If you can find your way, you can also lose your way. So if you are looking for happiness, you can also lose happiness. So happiness is not something that you find. Something is what you are. Happiness is what you are. Que tú eres. What you are. Happiness is what you are. So you need to realize that happiness is already, freedom is already what I am. But when you dream yourself to be a person, you are in the unhappiness business. It's your choice. So you buy into it. I want to be a happier person. Good luck. If you want to be a happier person, good luck. You're in the wrong place. If you want to be a happier person, you're in the wrong place.
But today is you are happy.
I am happiness.
You are happiness.
And yeah, I am happy.
Take the decision now and see.
Absolutely.
This is a message.
Absolutely. It is available. It is available to you, yes. Yes. Do not feed unhappiness. Do not, the mama, she gives food to the baby with a spoon. Here's the train, open it. Do not feed unhappiness. When you see unhappiness, don't give it to vitamin. Don't give antibiotics to vaccination to unhappiness. Don't feed unhappiness. Whenever there is unhappiness, you can sense it. You just say, no. You say it to yourself. But it's not like repeating a mantra. You have to say it because that's what you love. You love happiness. You love peace and happiness. We all do. So just don't concern, worry. No. When you notice that, of course, sometimes we don't notice. It's okay, we don't notice. So what? But when we notice unhappiness, you have to say no. Okay?